Well, it is just as we expected Donald Trump to unfortunately go to the Supreme Court and ask them, them being those 5 corrupt Supreme Court Republican jurors or justices or judges, as some would call them, that wrongfully and bogusly made presidential immunity out of thin air, little tiny particles, to try to get his hush money conviction sentencing hearing that is scheduled for 9:30 a.m. on Friday morning, New York time. Thrown out. Why? Because Donald Trump thinks that he is above the law and that he can just randomly, unfortunately, commit all of the democracy busting crimes against the American people without punishment. Granted, this hush money scheme designed to try to cheat illegally in the 2016 presidential election to silence porn star Stormy Daniels or actress Stormy Daniels, to keep her quiet from an alleged sexual encounter that she and the then married Donald Trump had years later. Let's get into the article. This article is by NBC News, titled Trump on Trial. Trump asks Supreme Court to block New York hush money sentencing. And that the article begins, President-elect Donald Trump on Wednesday asked the Supreme Court to block criminal proceedings in his hush money case in New York, with a sentencing hearing scheduled for Friday. The court has asked New York prosecutors to respond to Trump's request by Thursday morning, giving the justices time to act before the sentencing proceeding. The third article to the paragraph reads, air quote, this court should enter an immediate stay for further proceedings in the New York trial court to prevent grave injustice and harm to the institution of the presidency and the operations of the federal government, Trump's lawyers said and wrote in a court filing. Granted, ladies and gentlemen, yes, he has a sentencing hearing scheduled, but said sentencing hearing is not actually a sentence hearing. It's just pretty much to hand Donald Trump a pink slip, tell him how severe his charges are, and to give the court a possible chance to speak on behalf of Trump's sentencing, of why the Judge Merchan, who is the New York acting Supreme Court Justice, of why he did not sentence Donald Trump, even though for the soul-sucking illegal crime that he did, he deserves to be in prison, even during his presidency. As I've raised this subject in the past, they can easily accommodate him in a jail cell because he committed a bunch of heinous crimes that, hell, I wish I could get away with all those crimes. But no, is Donald Trump potentially being sentenced to prison time? No. Instead, he is unfortunately being charged with an unconditional discharge, which means no jail time, no home confinement, no probation, nothing whatsoever. Because New York law has this unconditional discharge that is an option for judges in this type of situation, unprecedented, that they can sentence their defendants to. Let's get into today's article. This court should enter an immediate stay of further proceedings in the New York court to prevent grave injustice and harm to the situation of the presidency and the operations of the federal government, Trump's lawyers said and wrote in a new filing to the court. I already read that, but I reread it again. The third paragraph says they argue that the case should not go forward because Trump was protected by presidential immunity, as recognized by the Supreme Court last year. Let me stop you right there, folks. Pause. Presidential immunity was illegally out of thin air, thin, tiny particles made up on behalf of Donald Trump. Not presidential, elect immunity, presidential immunity. In a video that I posted, I believe yesterday, of the appellate division of the first division, the court that he filed an appeal with, Judge Gesmer, who presided over his appeal, immediately rejected the appeal, rightfully and legally. Because there is no such thing as presidential elect immunity. Moving along. Trump's lawyers have filed a similar request at the New York Court of Appeals, the highest court in the state, quotation marks, the Supreme Court's historic decision on immunity, the Constitution, and established legal precedent mandate that this meritless hoax be immediately dismissed. The Trump spokesperson Stephen Chung said in a statement. Let me stop you right there again, folks. I am bashing Stephen Chung right in the face for this illegal, bogus act. The New York law does not state about presidential immunity, nor does the Supreme Court mandate that the hush money case be dismissed. If the Supreme Court rules in favor of Donald Trump, they are 1,000 times more corrupt than they already are. Let's continue with the article. A spokesperson for the Manhattan District Attorney's Office said their office would respond in court papers. On Tuesday, a New York appeals court judge declined to block the sentencing. Trump was convicted of 34 felony counts of falsifying business records to cover up a hush money payment that then Michael Cohen, who is his former attorney, personal and fixer, in May having Cohen pay adult film star Stormy actor or Stormy Daniels and actress.
Oh.
What?
Well, you are.